Hey everybody, it's me, Remy the Comic Book Poser. I'm here today to welcome you to Enter the Poserverse. It's Monday, so you know what that means. I can't count to 5. I'm going to talk about my top more than 5 comics, so we'll go with 5-ish, that I read on last week's New Comic Book Day, that if you missed out, you should try and pick up on this week's New Comic Book Day. So to see what made the list, y'all check it out after this.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You know the usual quick announcements. Number 1, don't forget to watch tomorrow's video and comment on it to get your entry into the poser pile. We've had our first 2-time winner in Cheps Pops, who won it, the first and now the 5th week of the 4th week? I can't, time's not real. Number 2, Whatnot auction at 8 o'clock-ish Central on Thursday. Last week was DC themed. This week I'm clearing out some of my Uncanny X-Men Mutants books, so it might be a Marvel Thursday. And number 3, we got Shop Talk with me, J1, Jellyfingers, and our new edition, Cole from Cole's Comic Claims. So check us out at 9:30 Central, where we break down our favorite books of the week, and whatever else comes up in the middle of the week that we get excited about. So let's see what makes the list. Alright, we'll go through our 3 honorable mentions really fast. Number 1, Nice House on the Lake, number 7. Good God, we broke this down a lot on Shop Talk this last week, and there is so much crazy crap that's going on in here that we don't know what's real or not. We don't know how really powerful Walter is. Do his powers get heightened now that they're in the new house? But good God. Spider-Woman number 20. This is the best issue about nothing that's happened. Literally the first page is like, this is going to be the least action intense, and it delivers, but the creation of the anti-Arachnine is absolutely hysterical. And then our last honorable mention was She-Hulk number 2. I really thought this book was going to be higher in the list, but I got surprised by a couple of the books that I read today to clean off the to-read pile. And, you know, I like that we're starting to see a lot more Jack of Hearts come into play that we are seeing in She-Hulk. We saw the reveal in Silver Surfer Rebirth number 2. So, very, very excited. Coming in at number 5 from Image Comics is Nocterra number 8. It's by Tony S. Daniel, Scott Snyder, and Marcello Maiolo. So we get to learn what's happening at some of the other outposts that we see somebody who's trying to run in before he gets locked out, and then, oh my God, Blacktop Bill was a dude in the mask that kills everybody. And then we learn that's been happening all over the place. And I still like the play off of fractions and math and time. That was kind of the theme of the previous issue. But in this one, we're starting to kind of learn more about the young man who was picked up from the previous outpost where, like, all the cattle and stuff were. We're starting to learn that the dark beasts, I want to call them shade creepers, but that's something in Critical Role right now. But they're changing their patterns of attack, which is concerning the convoy folks. But what we ultimately learn at one of the places that Blacktop Bill goes to explore is that they have a device where they can communicate with God. And he can now see the plan that essentially the being that made him has for the planet in the world of the Big PM. And it was led to a cascade of reveals that I did not see coming. I have loved this book since issue number 1. It continues to get more and more insane, and you should read it if you're not. Coming in at number 4 from DC is Dark Knights of Steel number 5. This is by Tom Taylor. The art is Yasmin Putri, and the colorist is Arif Pritano, and the letterer is Wes Abbott. But in this book, we know that the coalition between the Kingdom of Themyscira and the House of Storms, I think it's what Black Adam's cluster is called, is getting ready to declare war on on the House of L because, right, Supergirl apparently killed Black Adam's son, or she's being alleged to be his killer. So what we are seeing basically is an attempt to stop the forces from crossing each other, and we get a great, I think the way I framed this on Shop Talk was, I love a good Harley Quinn Poison Ivy thirst trap moment, and we definitely have that here, where Harley Quinn's like, hey, can you, like, shut down the forest so we can, you know, stop the two kingdoms from going to war? And she's like, oh, I'll do whatever as long as you're here. So we get that kind of, you know, fun, lusty relationship. Then we see Wonder Woman show up and, like, kick the shit out of some trees. And we find, ultimately, that there needs to be a meeting of the minds between Wonder Woman and Supergirl to kind of see if they can smooth tensions, or see if they can find out either who framed Supergirl, or is there somebody manipulating the prophecy, or can they prove to their two families that the prophecy that says these clusters are going to be at war is just wrong. Coming in at number 3, another one from Image, y'all. We got Nita Hawes' Nightmare Blog number 5 by Rodney Barnes, Jason Sean Alexander, Simon Kurdansky, and Luis NCT. So at the end of the last issue, like, Nita ends up in hell, because she died. She died in 4. At the end of 3, is in hell in 4. So here we start to see some of the connections between, you know, the two storylines, since this is an offshoot of Philadelphia. But we start to see some play with what's going on in hell. And one of the things that we learn is that, just like Nita takes no shit on land, she clearly is not afraid of anything in hell. And what's happening at the same time is they're trying to investigate her murder, and they're trying to use, who is it? I can't think of his name, but he can kind of get into and interrogate souls and that kind of stuff. But really, I mean, we get a beautiful painting of the hellscape, and, you know, threats made to Nita, questions about, you know, why do you listen to God and let him paint us as the evil one? But as we get to the last page, where we see, the offending panel is now off the page, but once you see that Nita is kind of being crucified, we get one hell of an arrival into this storyline with some questions as to why he may be there, according to Nita. But I have been pulling this since issue number 1, but I got my issue number 1 late. But I'm finally caught up, and I am loving this series as much as I have Philadelphia, that Rodney Barnes is a genius. Coming in at number 2 was the pick of the week when it came out, or when its previous issue came out the month before. Again, from Image Comics, is crossover number 12. It's Donny Cates, Jeff Shaw, Dee Cunniffe, and John J. Hill. So in this one, we kind of get what we're expecting is kind of a story about Negan, and Negan is just going apeshit on tearing up Kirkman's house, right, because he is going after his god, the one who established him. And Kirkman is kind of begging for his life, and there's some funny moments in terms of the dialogue where, like, you can see all of the seeds that Kirkman is trying to plant about his connection to Negan and all of that. But one of my favorite moments in here is when, you know, he starts name-dropping some of the other people that he killed, and he makes fun of Kirkman for, you know, not going to as emotionally deep a level as Brian K. Vaughan did. But yeah, spoiler alert, he dies. Boo! So some glorious Negan. And what's his baseball bat's name? Is that Lucille? I don't know much about The Walking Dead. But we get that, and then we start to see what kind of power Donny Cates may or may not have in his old man form, since we know that he is, you know, not controlling this universe according to him, and we get a very funny use of some speech bubbles and page directions in terms of what happens across the last couple of pages. But I'm loving, as we kind of build towards the end, that we're now going to see kind of the two worlds go to blows. And crossover, I know there were a lot of people who fell off towards the end of the first arc, or in the first issue 2 or 2 of this second arc, but you should pick it back up. It's gone absolutely bonkers. And then there was one. Coming in at number 1, you're going to have to watch tomorrow's Mixed Collectors Read of the Week video to see what exactly makes my top of the list. So what do you think? I know if you are here in the premiere, you probably let me know in the live chat. If you want to talk about, mention, ask questions about any books, or tell me my picks are straight up wrong, then you can always let me know in the comments down below. But as always, y'all, thanks for stopping by, and have a good one.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.